So tonight's a very special night. We have Dodgers night at Staples Center at our Kings game, and we're honored to have the Dodgers Spanish play-by-play voice, a Hall of Fame voice, our very dear friend Jaime Jarrin. How are you, my friend? Great to have you with us.
Thank you, Francisco. It is really a pleasure to be with you. I remember vividly the first time that I was able to watch in person a hockey game. It was thanks to your invitation. That was last year or 2 years ago? 2 years ago,
It
because last
was
year.
January 6, 2020, right before the pandemic hit.
Oh, it was last year then. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, it was a great experience for me that night.
It seems like a long time, Jaime, now that you mention it. But, we had a blast. We had Latino Heritage Night that night. And I know you told me that this was your first time coming to a hockey game, which is interesting because you've covered so many events. You've done baseball for a long time, but I know you have a busy schedule. But when you were able to finally make it to Staples Center and watch the game, what jumped at you? What were your first impressions?
Well, it was an unbelievable night because I came to this country from Ecuador in 1955, so I have been here for so long, for almost 70 years, and never had the opportunity to watch a hockey team. Because in Ecuador, we don't play hockey because of the altitude. Everybody thought that it will be snowing in Quito, but never in the snows in Quito, because even though it's 10,000 feet high, because it's in the equator line. So when I came to this country, I heard about the sport. Then my grandson, Stefan, is the one that started talking to me about how beautiful, how great the hockey is. Especially it is a sport that you have to be there in order to enjoy it fully. Así es que last year I was able to go there, and I was surprised to see the way that people conduct themselves at the Staples Center. Families, entire families, watching there, enjoying there, wearing a very heavy clothing. It's great. It was a very special night for me. Very special.
It is interesting that you mention Ecuador now, because we're in Los Angeles. We're used to the breeze. We're used to the sun. We're used to going to the beach, palm trees, everything. But it's sort of like having our own little winter heaven, right, inside of Los Angeles.
Yeah, Ecuador has only 2 seasons a year: 6 months of summer, six months of winter. Summer is very dry, very windy. Winter is very not very cold, because it never gets very cold in Quito, but never snows, rains a lot. The coldest temperature in one night in Quito must be probably 48 degrees at night, and the hottest day in summer is probably 92 degrees at the most. So it is very nice winters and summers, but never snows in Quito. So I was never able to watch a hockey game in Ecuador. And it took me many years here to go to a hockey game, but now I will try to go as often as possible. I haven't been able to go to many hockey games because of my traveling with the Dodgers. When the Kings are playing at night, they usually have a game at night also. And also, I am on the road so much, so it has been very tough. But as soonest I get an opportunity, I will ask Stefan to come with me to a hockey game, to the Kings game.
Yeah, even though you just went to your first game last year, the Kings actually took the cup to Dodger Stadium a couple of times when they won in 2012 and 2014. One more thing that I remember, when they won the last Stanley Cup, people at Dodger Stadium were watching the game in the Jumbotron. So you obviously saw the reaction when they won and the crowd going crazy. What did that represent to you, being here in LA and being an adopted Angelino I've been here for so many years?
Well, yes, it was a very special night at Dodger Stadium because the Kings were the champions, and the emotion that people felt there, they were following very closely because it's so tough to get to dispute the Stanley Cup. It's so tough, I understand, in hockey, but that was a great night. The explosion from the people when the team won. The cup was unbelievable. Then I remember vividly when they came. Many players came with the Stanley Cup to Dodger Stadium, and to see the way that the Dodger players and the hockey players got together was really very emotional. I enjoyed that very much. It was great.
Yeah, and you know what? That's one of the things that I think makes you learn how much Latinos are involved in the game of hockey too. Because we think, yeah, we know baseball, we know soccer, we know boxing, but at the same time, I was pleasantly surprised when I started calling games for the Kings and saw so many Hispanic faces, heard so many Hispanic voices, a lot of bilingual people following the Kings. Why do you think this game is so attractive to Latinos?
Well, we are very sports-minded people, the Latinos, very more minded, sports-minded people. So we love. There is room for everything. There is room for baseball, for hockey, for baseball, for football, soccer, everything. There's room for that. It's tough to divide the dollar among all those sports, but there's room for everybody. And I am so glad to see that people are following because, especially with children, it's great to take them into to a sports event because that way we keep them away from the streets and everything. So I will recommend our listeners to be careful with children. Take them to a sports field, take them to a stadium, take them to practice any sport because that will be very positive for the family entirely. And I know that day by day, the interest of hockey is increasing in California. I am very glad for that. And congratulations to the Kings. They have been playing well this year. And of course, they won the Stanley Cup one time. So it's fantastic. It's fantastic. And I recommend everybody to go and watch in person because there is nothing like being there watching hockey. Baseball, boxing, everything you can watch on TV. Hockey also, but it's so fast. It's unbelievable, but you have to be there. You have to be there and to enjoy fully.
Jaime, before we let you go, you mentioned boxing and, going back and reading your bio, you started your career calling a lot of big boxing events. What do you think about the toughness of hockey per se? And we're talking about how this sport interests Latinos. I mean, you see a lot of big hits, people getting slammed against the wall. You see a lot of people fighting too. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know. I can't understand totally how tough hockey is. That's why, my grandson Stefan has been explaining to me details of the game. That's why they tell me that the most that they can play and one instant is 45 seconds, 1 minute, minute and a half. Then they have to take a rest because it is so demanding physically. And to call a hockey game must be very tough too. So congratulations to you, Francisco, for doing that. But it's a great game. It's a great game, and it's demanding. I understand. It's a very rough game. It's really very special, very special. I admire those. They are really truly athletes. Those hockey players.
Our very dear friend, our amigo Jaime Jarrin, Spanish radio voice for the Los Angeles Dodgers, a member of the Hall of Fame. We're so happy to have you. We thank you for being with us. And just the way you were so kind to extend me an invitation to be in the booth with you guys when we had Kings Night at Dodger Stadium. Now we want to extend an invitation as well next time we get back to normality per se. And we want to hear one of your signature calls. How about Ya estoy viendo las casitas en mi pueblo when the Kings are about to win, when we have a few seconds left.
Invitation. I shall be there, and I hope you come to visit us so you can hear me saying, bueno amigos, ya estoy viendo las casitas en mi pueblo. Se acerca su bien esta jornada. Ahora viene el lanzamiento, batazo profundo al jardín central. La pelota se va, se va, se va y despídala con un beso. Se fue de cuadrangular.
There we go. Grand slam for our Dodger night at Staples Center tonight. Muchas gracias, Jaime. Thanks for being with us.
Francisco, gracias, and I hope to see many, many people in a hockey game soon. Thank you.